The Unfolder Emerald system is the latest in a line of implantation systems from AMO. Designed exclusively for use with Sensor with OptiEdge, it can assist a surgeon in setting a new small incision standard for 3-piece acrylic IOLs with 6mm optics. With a new thread design that reduces the number of twists necessary for delivery of the lens, a more tapered, cone-shaped tip that won't change wound architecture, a highly polished rod tip that preserves the optic surface, and an enhanced rod tip design that facilitates haptic release and control, the Emerald builds on the proven performance of prior Unfolder implantation systems.
The earlier Unfolder designs required that the surgeon rotate his or her hands through 2 axes, one in one direction and the other hand moving in the other direction. The overwhelming majority of people who use the device very quickly get over that learning curve. It's not very long at all. But in the new design concept, where there's only one axis of rotation, it makes it a lot easier for the surgeon. And very slowly turn the lens as it unfolds. And come back and get our trailing loop.
As with other Unfolder systems, the ability of operating room staff to prepare the Emerald inserter enhances a surgeon's efficiency. The first step is filling the 2 grooves of the cartridge with Vitrax or Coes, or an ophthalmic viscosurgical device of your choice. A third shot of visco should bridge the grooves about 1/3 of the way up the cartridge. Then place the IOL in the cartridge according to the diagram on the lower wing. The leading haptic should be placed forward into the nose of the cartridge, and the trailing haptic should extend beyond the rear of the cartridge. Insert the cartridge into the Emerald inserter and push all the way forward, again making certain that the trailing haptic is clear. Push the plunger until it enters the cartridge, engaging the optic. Turn the knob approximately 1/2 turn clockwise. This will move the IOL into its proper position in the nose of the cartridge. The leading haptic should sit just like this, ready for insertion.
What I've noticed is that the thread design has a wider gap, so as a result there are fewer turns of the screw mechanism to have the lens move down the inserting device. This makes it easier, less maneuvers, and a smoother delivery. In my surgical experience, we've used the what I call feeler gauges or incision size gauges, and after inserting the Sensor AR40E with the new Emerald series, I've been able to place the lens without enlarging the incision. So we're not stretching the incision to get a full 6mm lens with the new Emerald series inserter. And then I like to deliver this lens slowly and watch the loop come out and make sure it goes into the capsule bag. And then just gradually have it unfold. Always want to keep that leading loop parallel to the plane of the iris and the capsule. Let it unfold slowly. Leading edge into the bag, and come back and capture the trailing loop into the incision. What's important for me is not necessarily always having the trailing haptic be placed in one maneuver insertion into the capsule bag. So long as I get that trailing haptic inside the eye, then the concept of having the lens delivered in the eye without coming in contact with the ocular surface is intact. We've not violated that principle. With regard to the Sensor lens, it has a lower index of refraction than the other acrylic lenses on the market at 1.47. Whether that's the responsible factor or there are other manufacturing factors, I'm not personally certain, but the result is that we see no glistenings in this material at all. It's optically clear. Another thing in having the lower index of refraction is that the curvature of the lens tends to be more steep. As a result, very few to any reflections off the surface of the lens. So the cosmesis of the lens is superior to other acrylic lenses, as well as the optical material being very pure and clear. Yeah, the OptiEdge has 3 components. The most posterior of that is the square edge that sits against the posterior capsule. In addition, the edge is designed to reduce the dysphotopsia that's associated with a square edge or truncated edge design. And I think there's good evidence that it's also effective in reducing dysphotopsia. The three-piece design affords outstanding centration because of the rigidity and design of the loops. The contact in the capsule fornix is excellent, and so I've seen only perfect centration with this lens. I think that gives one advantage to the three-piece design, particularly in any case where there might be some weakness of the zonules. If the lens is oriented in the same axis as the weak zonules, it'll act like a stent or almost like a capsule tension ring. Like anything else, there are advantages and disadvantages to every design. But my own thinking, when I'm considering stabilization and centration, I like the three-piece concept. Although it doesn't come up on an everyday basis, the advantage of a three-piece design, or another advantage, is that this lens can be placed in the ciliary sulcus, or the optic can be placed behind the anterior capsule in case of a broken posterior capsule. What we call that is optic capture. And this is something that cannot be accomplished with the one-piece design. So it means that you don't need to have as many lenses available at the time of surgery. If you look at the overall concept, I've been able to place the lens without enlarging the incision. There's only one axis of rotation. There are fewer turns of the screw mechanism to have the lens move down the inserting device. You have a lens that has the stability of the three-piece design, brings with it an edge that hopefully reduces the tendency for dysphotopsia, that is aesthetically pleasing. I think it represents a good design for the surgeon.